CBS News climate and weather contributor Jeff Berardelli joins us now to talk more about the path of the storm. Jeff, it's so hard to believe you've been tracking the storm for 2 weeks now.
2 weeks, and it's finally moving out. This is the storm's last stand. It's on its way out now. In fact, conditions are already starting to improve in parts of New England, but we still have tropical storm force winds, maybe for down east Maine for just a couple more hours. But it's going to hit Nova Scotia pretty hard. Halifax, that area. That's a look at the storm. So you can see it's basically down to almost nothing at this point. But believe it or not, it's still a hurricane. Still has winds of 85 miles an hour as it turns extra tropical or post-tropical. Sometimes these storms actually maintain their wind intensity, moving quickly now. 40 miles an hour, racing to the northeast. Remember, for a couple of days, it was moving at literally 1 or 0 miles an hour. So this is a big change. This is typical as the system gets to the north. You can still see winds of up to 50, 55 miles an hour, especially the east end of New England around places like Provincetown for the next couple hours. Same thing around Bar Harbor, Maine. However, the worst of it later today and tonight is going to be right over Halifax in the Nova Scotia area. I think the biggest issue up and down the eastern seaboard today, big waves, pounding surf, dangerous rip currents at the beach. I would recommend just stay out of the water today and be very cautious, even tomorrow, about going in the water, especially from North Carolina northward, because those are some monster waves that are headed towards the north.
Incredible. You know, we've talked a lot about climate change and the sheer force of this hurricane. Can you make a correlation between the way this storm gathered strength and the changing temperatures that we're seeing?
So, you know, we try not to say that one particular storm was due to climate change, but it is becoming more apparent that storms are being impacted by climate change and warmer water temperatures. So you can see that graphic right there. The proportion of Category 4s and Category 5s, the strongest of storms, has been increasing over the past few decades. Scientific research shows that. But there is no certain trend in the overall total number of global storms that we have found yet. Storms are moving 16% slower in the Atlantic. We think it has something to do with climate change, but natural cycles may also factor in. And in the future, the big question is, are we going to see more intense hurricanes? The answer is yes. There should be a lot more Cat 4s and Cat 5s, according to almost all the research that I have seen. Certainly heavier rain because air temperatures are warmer. They can fit more moisture and squeeze it out in the form of heavy flooding rainfall. Wow. And the storms are moving slower, so yes, heavier rain. But in terms of overall number of systems across the world, we are actually not sure yet if it will go up, go down, or stay about the same. There's conflicting research, but some of the latest research says that storms may actually go up in number, which is not what we thought 5 or 10 years ago.
Wow, and we're not out of the woods yet, right? You keep warning us that the season still continues.
So we still have about, traditionally speaking, 70% of the hurricane season left. September 10th is literally the peak of hurricane season. And as I look into my crystal ball over the next 2 weeks or so, there is some activity. Something may develop in the deep tropical Atlantic, move through the Caribbean, and it's something that we need to watch closely, starting in about 4 or 5 days from now.
Okay, all right, that's good to know. And you're also tracking a heat wave in the south. Tell me about that.
I mean, look, it's September, right?
I know.
So you can still get heat waves, but we're kind of hoping to transition out of that. It is brutal in the south this weekend. Feels like temperatures 100 to 115 degrees. Okay, it's September.
Wow.
And 40 record highs are possible both today and again tomorrow. And one of the issues that we have, leftover moisture in places like Charleston and Jacksonville, combined with the fact that we have power outages and people with no air conditioning, kind of makes the situation worse along the southeast coast. But you can see those numbers. Look at that. Mobile, 109.
Incredible.
Feels like 109 tomorrow in Tallahassee. So even though the storm is gone, it is hot in the southeast, but couldn't be more gorgeous here in New York City today. It's a beautiful day.
My parents are visiting for Tampa, and they thought that 65 was really cold, that the children should start wearing jackets.
I thought it was cold, and I agree with them.
Oh, Jeff, great to have you on set. Thanks so much for joining us.